July 1778. American troops, led by the celebrated Colonel George Rogers Clark, arrived in the territory that would become southern Illinois to claim old British and French forts for the new nation. Traveling with Clark was a young conscript from the east, Abijah Leavitt, and his brother William.
The night before they captured Fort Kaskaskia, the two Leavitt brothers from Massachusetts camped outside the fort near a spring, a very productive spring and fertile farmland, and they decided that this is where they wanted to homestead after their campaign was over. And my family's remained there ever since.
Barbara Leavitt Brown, mother, teacher, community leader, church volunteer, and Southern Illinoisan through and through.
My father farmed, but also was a rural mail carrier for the little town that I grew up in. It took both incomes to support his family, and we supplemented that by raising produce and selling produce in the summer.
She works well with the family. They're hard workers. I've seen her out working with her sisters and brothers, bringing hay in together already and trying to help her keep the family farm together.
It's a place where people farm, people mine the coal. Most Southern Illinoisans have had to work very hard to earn a living.
And Barb Brown is no exception. The first in her family to earn a degree, Barb worked her way through college and graduate school at Southern Illinois University in pursuit of a lifelong dream.
There is a schoolhouse that's just a mile from the farm that I grew up on. That is a very special one to me because it's a school in which my grandmother taught. And I don't know that there were times in my life when I didn't plan to be a teacher.
A number of students have told me over the years that they came here, the usual situation, didn't know what they wanted to major in, didn't know what they wanted to do. They took Barb's Introduction to American Government class and decided that government, political science, public service would be a very good career, would be the sort of thing that they were interested in.
I'll give you one example. What do you think that does in terms
But Barb's commitment extends beyond her work at Southern Illinois University. From the 4-H club she launched with her husband Dick, to her service on the library board in her hometown of Chester, Barb's work to bring educational opportunities to her own children and others. Today, the newly expanded Chester Public Library, with its increased capacity and state-of-the-art computer equipment, stands as a tribute to her leadership and vision. And Barb's a familiar face at St. Mary's Church of Ellis Grove, where she's played an active role in church affairs and played the organ nearly every Sunday for 27 years.
The way that I invest in my community is to really step forward, to take responsibility for what's happening with our children, what's happening with our senior citizens, what's happening in our church, what's happening in our schools. And that's a way of life for me and for many others.
Barb has been a leader in the community, and I think certainly her leadership starts at home. Many evenings sitting at the kitchen table with the boys, going over their spelling words and checking on their essays. As testament to all of that, our boys have done very well in school, in large part due to the time that she has spent with them.
Now, with her own sons in mind, Barb Brown is running for the state senate, fighting for our fair share of state funding,
Kids don't deserve anything less.
fighting to bring new jobs and businesses to our region, fighting to ensure that her generation is not the last that can afford to call Southern Illinois home.
The way of life that we've enjoyed in Southern Illinois, I think, is really under assault right now. We've had many families that have had to leave the area to pursue jobs elsewhere. We've had many families that have gone from a very good income to making ends meet on minimum income wages or poverty level wages, whether it's rural health care, whether it's investing in the infrastructure, roads, highways, whether it's investing in educational opportunities for young people. Either we move ahead with the rest of the state or we are left behind.
She's always been a friend to labor and will work with us to ensure that the people around here make a decent living wage.
She knows the coal industry. She probably is well versed on on acid rain. She knows the agriculture industry. She knows the educational process for the area, and she knows this from a grassroots level.
She's an educator herself, and she's had the experience. She knows what education needs, and I think she would fight to see that we get it.
By seeing Barb working with her family here on the farm, seeing that she's usually the first one leading the group that's going to do a job, that indicates to me that Barb will probably be the one leading whatever needs to be done in Springfield.
More than 200 years after her forebears settled on the lush lands of southern Illinois to build their future, Barb Brown is fighting to preserve our land, our values, and our way of life for her children and generations to come.
I think we have to give voice to those needs for people in southern Illinois. I think I can do that, and I want to do that. I want to do that as someone who has benefited from that lifestyle and someone who doesn't really want to see that go away. I want that opportunity to be there in the future.